let's get into this second segment of the Trust the Bank podcast. And we are going to be talking about the Joker, DeShon Elliott. I would say he's a fan favorite among Ravens fans. I think it's one of those things where, I don't know, I think it's done in a much better way than the Black Widow movie. I haven't seen the movie, but I'm just saying, like, Black Widow was supposed to come out like 4 years ago, and they just kept being like, next year, and then COVID hit, and then next year, and then next year. And all of a sudden now it's out, and it's like, we've been waiting for so long. Unfortunately, Black Widow isn't like a top tier superhero or anything like that. So it's not something that everybody's like, oh, I got to go see this.
But if it's $30 on Disney Plus, so
yeah, that's true. That is very true. But DeShon Elliott, it was like, come on, we got to see DeShon Elliott. We've seen like glimpses. We've getting little trailers. Mm-hmm. And finally we got to see him last year, and he balled out. He was very, very solid for the Ravens. And now it's a contract year, which seems so weird because we've only seen him once, really. Yeah. But now it's a contract year for him. The Ravens have drafted, Brandon Stevens, who they have kind of said is looking to become that transitioned into a safety role. The Ravens, signed undrafted free agent Ardarius Washington. We'll see what happens with the team's roster. We'll see. But overall, you look at that and you see that and you're like, okay, what is the plan with DeShon Elliott? Because is it to have him replace Chuck Clark, who has the mic, or what does DeShon Elliott have to do, Joshua, do you think, for the Ravens to look at him and say, you are on here next year, we are going to extend you at a reasonable price? Because if DeShon Elliott comes out and he gets 10 interceptions, forces 8 fumbles, gets 3 sacks, and is the number 1 graded safety, the Ravens will not re-sign him because they won't have the money. So it's got to be one of those situations where it's like, yeah, we got to get you for $8 million a year, $7 million a year. We can't have you too good and, be like CJ Mosley and walk out on us. What is the good median? How good does he have to be to not be too good, but for the Ravens to keep DeShon Elliott on the roster?
I think honestly, we all know he can play in the box. We all know he can hit. I think the main thing we're looking for is, DeShon Elliott at University of Texas. We're looking for DeShon Elliott, in those preseason games. And when I say, University of Texas those previous preseason games is when he was a ball hawking safety. It's when he was, being able to play over top in the coverage and not always get this miscommunication. So I think it comes down if he can really be a safety in regards of the coverage and the coverage schemes, far as playing with running with the tight ends and breaking up the passing. Is he able to stick with a Travis Kelce or a Jonnu Smith? Is he able to help Marcus Peters over top? And if Marcus Peters get beat, jumping on the pass, will he be there, to break up the pass or even get the interception? I think I'm not looking at stats. We're looking at those. Me personally, I'm looking at those technician skills. Is he to be able to assist with the fumble recoveries or even forced fumbles and stuff like that? We all know he can stand still Derrick Henry. We know that. We love it. And we all know he can blitz a quarterback. We love that stuff. But as a safety, we need to know, is he going to be able to be that extra security blanket when it comes down to it? Maybe we play against the Browns, and maybe it's one of those games towards the end of the season, or even we play against Big Ben towards the end of the season. Yeah. It's a Hail Mary pass. Can he be the one to break that pass or come down with the interception? Stuff like that. So if he can actually show that he's better in the coverage aspect than Chuck Clark, I definitely say, that would add to his resume and definitely help us out make a decision whether to extend him a contract, because this would really be his full sophomore season if he plays all 17 games. So, if anybody wants to, pay him big bucks, they also have to keep that in accountability as well as his durability. I'm proud of him that he was able to play through the whole season last year, and I hope we can get him again for another full season as well. So those are the things I'm looking at, in the Joker, because I'm very big on him. And if we don't keep him, I will actually like Steven. I keep on getting his name.
Brandon Stevens.
Yeah, I must want Steven Gilmore on the team. That's what it is. if we work out Brandon Stevens' way, he can actually be that that safety, or even Mr. Battle from University of Alabama. I don't think he went into the draft last year. I think he's going to be in this year's upcoming draft, or even one of those young men from LSU. But I definitely feel like DeShon will be the answer. I definitely feel like he'll be able to answer the call in regards to the coverage in order to get that extended contract.
Yeah, I think you brought up the most important point. It has to be in the coverage side of things, because we've seen from him that he can be a decent box safety. However, the Ravens aren't in need of a box safety. The Ravens are in need of, like you said, a ball hawk. The Ravens struggle to get interceptions. Patrick Queen, not amazing at getting like lurked interceptions. Okay, it's one thing to have oh look, Calais Campbell, he's 6'8", he tipped up a pass and Marlon Humphrey gets the pick. The only player on the Ravens on the Ravens defense that seemingly can go out of the way, be in coverage, get a bait, and get an interception is Marcus Peters. He's the only guy really that is able to do that even relatively consistently. Now, he is elite at it. However, he is the only one. And yes, it's nice to get fumbles. It's nice to get the punch outs. But the unfortunate thing about a Marlon Humphrey punch out is that they had to catch the ball first for Marlon to have that opportunity. Now, I'm not saying Marlon is bad because he doesn't get picks. Marlon is a top 2 cornerback in the NFL. Okay, I say he's top 1. But overall, you don't want to allow the catches. You want to be able to stop drives, okay? And the other issue with the fumbles is that you don't recover every fumble. Marlon Humphrey forces a lot of fumbles that just go out of bounds, and they just go and somebody recovers it, and it's just like, darn. Whereas when you have a pick, pretty much every time it is able to stay clean, unless it's Tony Jefferson against the Pittsburgh Steelers and it's Eric Ebron. It's the only kind of guy, or I can't remember if that was a fumble or an interception. I can't remember what they called it. They like switched it around. But like overall, getting that pick, especially in the passing offenses that the Ravens are trying to have to beat. Now, being the Kansas City Chiefs, being the, honestly, I'm going to say even the Pittsburgh Steelers, they're a pass-heavy offense. Now they got Najee Harris, so we'll see what that is. But, got to try and beat them. They go out against the Ravens. They don't run the ball. Big Ben, I don't know why this thing is going off. I keep putting this on silence. My phone is just it just wants to notify me that I'm getting messages. But I'm too popular. Everyone's like, man, I got to talk to this guy right now. At 5:45 on the West Coast. They're like, this is the time. But, you look at that and it's like, the Ravens need to get interceptions to be able to stop guys like Mahomes, stop guys like Josh Allen, even stop guys like Baker Mayfield. Because when the Browns started passing against the Ravens in that shootout, remember the Browns were dominating on the run game. That game had I want to say 9 rushing touchdowns in it. But the last 4 or 5 minutes of that game, it was pass. Ravens couldn't get a pick. The Ravens can't generate sacks. And overall, that makes it very difficult, is relying on the only way to get a stop is basically if they run the ball, the Ravens can stop you, or you can, force a punch out, or get a strip sack fumble, but they don't get a lot of sacks. Like getting picks is something that's so key. I'm not asking for DeShon Elliott to be Ed Reed. Okay, he doesn't have to go out there, bait Patrick Mahomes in some crazy way. I just need him to be in the right spot, stay on top, stay over Tyreek Hill and Mecole Hardman and Travis Kelce. Just make sure that they don't get the big plays and get those picks, because that is the thing that the Ravens need, is they need to get interceptions. I would say it's more likely this year that the Ravens get interceptions than they do pick a significant increase in sacks, because you look at Brandon Stevens. Brandon Stevens is very new to the defense side of the ball, not even just playing safety. He's new to defense. But if you've watched his tape, he's got ball skills. That ball is in the air. He can make a play. If you put that at free safety, even if he may allow some big plays. However, there's a chance that he can make a couple of nice plays, a couple of picks. And maybe it's against Mahomes. Maybe Mahomes throws it up. Because Mahomes, people act like Mahomes is perfect. Mahomes had a ridiculous amount of dropped picks last year, Josh Allen has a lot of drop picks. Like, they don't throw a perfect pass every time. However, teams are unable to capitalize. We need DeShon Elliott to capitalize. And if he's not able to capitalize on the bad passes and get those interceptions, he won't be in Baltimore after this season. And that's, he could still be a very good football player. I'd wish him the best wherever he went. But, like, the Ravens are looking at it like, hey, we want to get guys with ball skills. We can't have everybody just be a tackler. Marlon's a tackler. Chuck Clark's a tackler. DeShon Elliott's a tackler. Our linebackers are tacklers. We got to get some guys that can get some picks. And that's what we need from DeShon Elliott. But do you have anything to add on the Joker, Joshua?
No, man. It's just, we right. I mean, I'll say this. As a Raven fan, I always been calling him that dark horse. He's able to show himself, to really get out there and get to work, man. We've all been looking forward to this upcoming season. I feel like this whole team got a whole chip on their shoulder and something to prove. And DeShon Elliott is one of those guys in the locker room, in my opinion, that really got a big chip on his shoulder, because now he has to definitely duplicate, last season, if not similar, but definitely better in different aspects of his game. So that's all I got.
Yeah, so that's going to do it for this segment. Make sure to come back tomorrow if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening on the podcast, it's just going to come up in about 5 seconds. But if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to Daily Ravens content. Come back tomorrow, and you can see segment number 3. But